Welcome to the Yuma Sun Pages from the Past. I am Mara Kanab, and today I'm bringing you the Yuma Morning Sun from May 21st, 1934. So the first thing I'd like to point out are some interesting things in the masthead. For example, there's a skybox featuring the NRA, or the National Rifle Association. So that's been around quite a while, and so it's interesting that they put an ad in there. And another interesting thing is the slogan that the newspaper had at that time. They called itself the newspaper that goes home. And so we hope that's still true. And I found it really interesting that at the time the newspaper cost 5 cents. And of course it was only 4 pages. But we know at that time newspapers were really hard, really labor intensive to put together and get out. And another thing on the front page that might catch your eye is the weather. And not surprising, the high temperature at that time was 112. So even then, they were still having some pretty hot days. So this edition announced the death of a Yuma pioneer, Hiram Blaisdell, who died at the age of 80 in Boston. And he had first arrived to Yuma in 1884, and he was the one who planted the first citrus tree locally at a place called Yuma Mesa Orange Ranch. And so that's pretty cool that we know him. And he built Yuma's first waterworks, a generating plant and telephone system. And also he invented and implemented a filtration plant to remove silt from water. He was very active in improvements and civic affairs, according to the story. And he had actually left Yuma 20 years prior to his death. And then we have another death that happened here. This is Mrs. Sadie Watson Liggett, who at the age of 55 died following a bus crash. And so the story mentions that she died at the San Carlos Hotel due to her injuries. And so what happened, the story says that the bus skidded on wet pavement 18 miles west of Yuma. And she died, Mrs. Liggett died of severe gasoline burns. And the story also mentioned a second fatality related to this bus crash that had also happened, and that death occurred in Los Angeles. And that's it for today's Pages from the Past. And you can find more pages every Friday in the Yuma Sun. Bye.